Pathfinders, extraordinary stories of people like you on the quest for financial independence. Written by J.L. Collins. Summarized by detailed book summaries. Chapter 1, The Invitation to Freedom. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing you never have to work for money again. Not because you hit the lottery, but because you design a life that works for you. What would that life look like? More importantly, who would you be in it? That's where J.L. Collins begins Pathfinders. Not with complex math or stock tickers, but with a call to freedom. The chapter opens like a warm handshake. J.L. welcomes you not as a teacher, but as a guide, one who's seen the trail and wants to show you the way. He starts with a simple but radical truth. Financial independence is possible for ordinary people, not just tech bros or Wall Street wizards or lucky entrepreneurs. For you, he introduces us to the Pathfinders, dozens of real people who've walked the FI journey. Some are nurses, others are janitors, freelancers, single parents. Their stories are scattered across different ages, cultures, and income levels, but they all share something powerful. Intention. One woman, a postal worker, paid off her mortgage in her early 40s. Not because she made six figures, but because she made one smart decision at a time. A divorced father used index funds and frugality to buy back time with his kids. A recent college grad saved aggressively, not to retire early but to have options. These aren't fairy tales. They're blueprints. Throughout the chapter, J.L. repeats a mantra. The math is simple. The behavior is hard. He's clear this journey isn't about outsmarting the market. It's about mastering your habits. Want less. Save more. Invest consistently. Avoid debt. Stay the course. That's the real formula. But even more than the numbers, Chapter 1 is about mindset. It asks questions that poke at your assumptions. What if money wasn't your master? What if you could choose how you spend your days? What if freedom wasn't a dream, but a design? This chapter sets the tone. We're not just chasing wealth. We're reclaiming autonomy. It's not about never working, it's about never needing to. And maybe that's the deepest question of all. If you didn't have to work, what would you do? Chapter 2, Getting Real. Who FI is really for. Let's bust a myth right away. FI isn't just for high earners. This chapter dives straight into the biggest misconception surrounding financial independence, that you have to be rich to even consider it. JL flips that idea on its head with a bold but simple premise. It's not how much you earn, but how much you keep. He brings receipts. Stories of teachers, mechanics, immigrants, and gig workers who managed to carve their path to freedom by living below their means and investing intentionally. He paints a picture of FI not as an elite club, but as a spectrum, a direction, a set of choices you can start making now, wherever you are. One of the most striking stories comes from a janitor who began investing in low-cost index funds in his 30s after reading JL's blog. By 55, he wasn't just debt-free, he had more saved than most of his peers. Not because of a windfall, but because he quietly and consistently applied the principles. JL then unpacks the why behind FI. And it's not always about early retirement. For many, it's about resilience, options, security, the power to walk away from a toxic job, the ability to take a sabbatical, the courage to pursue work that lights you up. He gently challenges us to look at the stories we told ourselves. I don't make enough to save. I'll always be in debt. FI is for other people. Then he invites us to question them, not with guilt, but with curiosity. Because if someone with a modest income and 3 kids can build financial independence, what's possible for you? Chapter 3, Starting from Zero. This one hit deep, because this chapter is for the underdogs, the ones buried in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, or starting later in life. JL opens with a confession. Most people who find FI didn't start with a trust fund. They started with a mess. Debt, bad habits, money shame. But what they did have was a willingness to change. This chapter is packed with stories of transformation. A single mother drowning in credit card debt who clawed her way to solvency and eventually to financial stability. A former big spender who had a financial awakening after hitting rock bottom. A late starter who began saving at 50 and still achieved a level of FI. These aren't fairy tales, they're maps out of the hole. Jail lays out the basics. 1. Face the truth. Know what you owe. Know what you spend. 2. Build an emergency fund. Even a small one changes your psychology. 3. Attack high-interest debt. It's a wealth killer. 4. Automate savings. Don't rely on willpower. 5. Track progress. Wins fuel momentum. There's an emotional current running under all of this. It's about reclaiming dignity, believing you're not broken, that your past doesn't define your future. And Jail doesn't sugarcoat it. This part is hard. But he reminds us, hard is not the same as impossible. He shares a quote that lingers. You are not behind. You are starting now. And that's brave. Chapter 4, your number. What's your number? No, not your salary. Not your credit score. Your FI number, the amount you need invested to live without working for money. JL takes us through the classic formula. 25 times your annual expenses. Spend $40,000 a year. You need $1 million. It's not magic, it's math. And the 4% rule makes it real. But this chapter isn't just about calculating a number. It's about what the number means. It's a mirror, a reflection of your priorities. Jail urges you to ask, what does enough look like? What kind of life do I actually want? Am I chasing more or peace? We meet Pathfinders who got a FI with wildly different numbers. One couple lives, well, on $30,000 a year. Another spends $90,000. The key isn't the size, it's the alignment. You start to see a pattern. People who reach FI don't just earn more, they need less. And suddenly, FI doesn't seem so far away. Chapter 5, The Wealth Killer. If financial independence is a destination, then debt is a pothole that keeps blowing out your tires. JL wastes no time getting personal here. He shares how debt, especially consumer debt, acts like a reverse investment. Instead of compounding for you, it compounds against you. Slowly, quietly, brutally. He introduces readers to real-life Pathfinders who escape the debt trap one snowball payment at a time. A couple with $90,000 in student loans made minimum payments for years until they got serious, sold a second car, downsized their lifestyle, and paid it off in under 4 years. Another story features a young woman who tackled 5 credit cards after reading Jail's blog, moving from hopelessness to total financial clarity. He breaks down the 2 popular approaches: the debt snowball, smallest to largest balances; the debt avalanche, highest to lowest interest rates. But he emphasizes, pick a method and go. Action beats analysis. The emotional layer in this chapter is thick. Jail reminds us how debt is often tangled up with shame. But his firm debt is a math problem, not a moral failure. He gives us this freeing truth. You are not your debt. Chapter 6, Investing Made Stupid. Simple, this might be the most empowering chapter in the whole book, because it takes the biggest source of financial fear, investing, and strips away the mystery. JL walks us through the basics of index fund investing. Why chase hot stocks or time the market when you can own the entire market with one low-cost fund? He revisits his favorite recommendation, VDSCX or similar total market index funds. He gives a powerful analogy. Imagine trying to win a race by jumping from one fast-moving car to another. That's stock picking. Instead, JL says just get in the car marked entire market, buckle up, and enjoy the ride. He explains dollar cost averaging market dips and why doing nothing during downturns is often the smartest move. A memorable quote from one Pathfinder. The less I touched my portfolio, the more it grew. He closes with this truth. Building wealth doesn't require brilliance. It requires discipline, simplicity, patience, and the confidence to stay the course. Chapter 7, FU Money. This is where FI gets its swagger. Jail introduces the idea of FU money, that first threshold of freedom where you're not fully FI, but you could walk away from a job, a relationship, or a life path that no longer fits. We meet Pathfinders who hit this milestone and use it to take sabbaticals, change careers, or demand better working conditions. One woman left a toxic corporate job and became a part-time yoga teacher. Another used her FU fund to support her aging parents while transitioning into freelance writing. JL is clear this isn't about being reckless. It's about having choices. FU money gives you leverage. And sometimes, just knowing you could walk away changes everything. Chapter 8. Staying the course. What happens after you've started investing? After the excitement fades and the market dips? This chapter is all about emotional endurance. JL warns, the path to FI isn't always smooth. There will be bear markets, fear, boredom, temptation to tweak your strategy. We hear from Pathfinders who panicked during market crashes, and those who didn't. The difference? Mindset and preparation. He offers timeless advice. Don't watch the market daily. Stick to your plan. Trust the process. One couple's story stands out. They started investing just before the 2008 crash. They lost money early but kept going. Today, they're retired in their 40s. The takeaway? Discipline wins. Chapter 9. Family. Money doesn't exist in a vacuum. It flows through households, partnerships, and generations. This chapter explores how families navigate the FI journey together. JL shares stories of couples who got on the same financial page, parents teaching kids about money, and even grown children inspiring their parents to save. We meet a blended family who downsized to live on one income and reach FI faster. Another family took many retirements to travel while their kids were young. JL explores the tension between saving and giving, between personal goals and shared responsibilities. He offers scripts for hard conversations and reminds us that leading by example is often the most powerful lesson, because when one person in a family finds a path, it often lights the way for others.